you came across something that is becoming all too evident and all too obvious these days. Tell us your story, Robert.
Well, last Monday evening, I suppose around 6:30, maybe 6:45, I was getting the number 8 bus from Patrick Street up to my mother's house in Mayfield. And now, because the bus had been so long waiting, and I've been waiting sometime myself, a crowd gathered. And since there's no restrictions anymore on public transport, we were like sardines.
Yeah, the 6:45 to Mayfield was jammed. Yeah.
Jammed. And there's so much so that not everybody actually got on the bus.
How does that happen then? Is it do people form an orderly queue or something, or what?
Well, it's a queue, but it's not orderly. It's just whoever gets on, I suppose. You know, that kind of a way.
Gotcha. Okay. But anyway, you did. So what you see?
So I got on anyway. I'm standing in the aisle by the side door. In there is just where the baby buggy bays or the wheelchair bays.
I do, of course, yeah.
So this guy comes in, basically stumbles in. He looks like he can't support the weight of his teeth in his own head. Pulls down one of the seats, sits down. His partner comes in, sits down next to him. This lady comes in with a baby in a buggy. So she gets up, asks him to get up. He didn't move an inch. So anyway, between the jigs and the reels, the lady actually got in with the buggy with her back to them. And so I suppose about 10 or 15 minutes later, we were kind of up in McCurtain Street heading up towards Summerhill. And this guy just pulls out a syringe in front of everyone.
Just like that?
Just like that. Didn't know where he was. Didn't know what planet he was on.
Did the girl with him try and stop him?
Well, initially, no, I don't think so. But a woman actually spoke up and said, like, look, there's an effing baby in the buggy there. Get it away. You know?
Yeah.
And so she was a lot more lucid than he was. He was out of it. So she kept hitting him in the hands, you know, put it away, put it away, put it away. And he kept putting it into her like a zip pocket by where the crest of a badge on his jersey would be, you know? That's where he pulled it out of. So that's where he was putting it back in. So it was obviously brought to the driver's attention, who proceeded to just keep driving, which, to be honest with you, I don't blame him. Because it was so packed, trying to get somebody in that condition with that kind of paraphernalia on you, off the bus, through the amount of people, there was so much potential for something to go wrong, you know? It was intimidating is not the word, because I was within an arm's length of him. If I said something to him, I don't know who he is. I don't know what he's capable of. Well, and I don't know where that needle was either.
You clearly wouldn't know where the needle might end up. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So anything can happen. I mean, he could barely support his own legs. So even if he fell, even if he didn't intentionally want to hit somebody with it, the potential was still there. I mean, those buses jerk all the time as well, you know. So I was that close to him that if the bus jerked and he fell forward and it was in his hand, it could easily pinch me.
Robert, did he use it, or did he put it away and keep it away?
No, it was put away and kept away. He wasn't left to use it. As I say, that woman that spoke up basically brought the whole bus's attention to them. So, no, he did keep trying to, but the woman he was with kept stopping him, you know. So
he's so completely out of it. Do you think that he doesn't realise what he's doing, the consequence, or even where he is?
He has no idea where he is. He has no idea. Just completely divorced from reality now. Completely. Absolutely no idea where he is.
Was he coherent enough to be able to pay to get onto the bus?
I'm assuming that she paid for two and he just went ahead because he came on first.
Yeah.
He came in before her, you see. So, because I was standing and there's people like that all the time. You know, when the next hit, and you're kind of, oh gosh, you know, that kind of way.
Yeah.
But you're just like, whatever. Look, you're going up there. You're on the bus. Nothing's going to happen.
So a lot of the time, you just tolerate things like this because you think it's becoming the norm.
Which is quite worrying, really. To be honest, you know, I mean, I knew it was prevalent in the city to a point, because you see it as you go around the city. You can walk around, you can see the people. You know what they look like. You know, I mean, you know what they're into. But to be that close to it and actually have a live substance in the barrel of a syringe, I was like, Jesus almighty.
Yeah, it's no longer down dark alleyways or in kind of recessed doorways. It's very much front and centre and obvious to all, and even on the passenger seat of a bus. Yeah.
This wasn't a half-empty bus and they were upstairs at the back or anything like that. This was downstairs, I mean, in the busiest part of the bus, because it was in between both doors of the bus as well, so people were getting on and off.
I don't know. I just don't know. Anytime I'm in there, it's like I was in there Monday evening, and actually it's the same. That was the same time you were in town. I was in town Monday evening, wasn't it? Around about 6:45.
Yeah, Monday evening.
Yeah, well,
spot on, yeah.
And I was up Washington Street, Grand Parade. Oh my God, there were some people gathered on Patrick Street and they were like zombies. They really were. Groups of them were like The Walking Dead. It was unreal. It was so sad to look at.
It's so surreal to look at because, I mean, as you say, 20 years ago, this wasn't a thing. No, it might be dotted here and there, but no, it's literally, no matter what angle you turn at, if you walk in that direction, you're going to come across it at some point in the city centre.
I know what you're saying.
It's gone insane. And, like, the thing about it then as well is, like, if that man had been as that stocious drunk, would he have got on the bus? Would he have been left on? That's another way of looking at it.
Well, there was a misfortune. There was a misfortunate man. I won't give out any private details. I mentioned it earlier. He fell out onto the road on McCurtain Street. If anyone had been going faster, me included, I think we could have been talking about a tragedy. He was the loveliest guy, actually. Big, beaming, smiling face. I stayed with him for half an hour. All he wanted to do was chat and hug and shake hands. And he was lovely. But he was completely and utterly stocious. Completely.
Yeah.
And my fear was, because he wanted to go away and I was trying to keep him as long as I could, because my fear was he'd walk up McCurtain Street and literally just fall out into moving traffic, or if he'd been near water, he'd have just fallen into the Lee.
Yeah, I mean, it's dangerous. You can't compare apples and oranges. I get that, with being out of your head on heroin and being drunk, but the difference with the heroin is they have paraphernalia on them. That's also a potential danger and it's public transport.
I know. And listen, there's a chance the needle could have been thrown on the ground of the bus as well. I know. I was shocked. To be honest, I was shocked. But then when the driver drove on and didn't kind of eject him from the bus, I completely understood. And do you think that bus Éireann should have a different policy in that regard?
Well, if they, I don't know, maybe they should look into it anyway, at least, because it's obviously that it's happening, and if he's only one out of how many in Cork are there?
Yeah, I know.
How many other buses,
I know, with babies and buggies and everything. All right, listen, I do appreciate it. Come on, I appreciate it. I know it's not an easy thing to do. Thanks for sharing.
Neil Prendeville, the voice of Cork. Weekdays 9 to 12. Cork's Red FM.